Well, everyone, it is Wednesday, and it's Wednesday of a very fun week because the week's almost over. We've got the 4th of July coming up, which is always a blast and always fun. And people are always thinking about hot weather, the pool, let's have a drink, let's grill out. And what comes naturally next, Lizzie?
A barbecue, a home, a place to do it.
Let's go buy something in somewhere tropical. And today we're going to talk about an island that it's its own country, but a lot of people have never heard of it. But Dominica is its name. I always say it wrong. I always second guess myself, but it's Dominica is what it's called. And this is a unique island because if you've ever been to Maui, which Lizzie and I both have been, it reminds us of the rainforest jungle with the waterfalls, the nature, the parrots. It's really pretty. So we're going to dive deep into that today, Lizzie. Sound good?
I'm super excited to explore more because, there's no place like Maui, but it is kind of far from the East Coast. So if we can have a little Maui on this side, I think that's super exciting.
Exactly. And you don't lose, you don't have to go forward 6 hours, right?
Yeah, and be in the middle of nowhere ocean,
Yeah, exactly.
What makes Dominica unique compared to other Caribbean luxury real estate destinations?
Well, we've covered an amazing amount of the Caribbean, and we've talked about the focus being on that traditional resort-driven luxury. Dominica stands out for its eco luxury appeal. It's known as that nature island. So it offers that rare combination of unspoiled rainforests, geothermal features, mountain to sea landscapes, low density development. Okay, so it is not overpopulated whatsoever. They have luxury, but it's just not flashy. It's intentional. It's sustainable. It's immersive. It's making it ideal for buyers who value privacy, wellness, and environmental integrity. So I always think of, and not everybody is outdoorsy, but when you go to these places and let's say, you want to hike and you want to see some things, there is an entire trail that goes through Dominica that you're going to see all kinds of different landscape. You're going to see nature, but you're going to see waterfalls. You're going to be in the trees, and even though you're down south and it stays warm all year, you're kind of in the shade because of that jungle-like feel. So it's pretty cool.
I think that's amazing, especially for people who are in big cities and don't get to be around nature. I mean, I'm in Miami, but in order for me to be in nature, as we have the ocean, but I drive about an hour to get to my barn to be with my horses and be in actual nature. So imagine being in the city like New York or any of the big cities, Jersey, and being in that high-paced environment. I think this would be the perfect place to disconnect.
Absolutely. And I was on a call last week. I was actually on a Zoom call last week. And some people worry that when something is less developed or it's more rural, so to speak, and it's jungle, that it's not going to have good reception. Like, maybe you want to unplug some, but you can't unplug all the way. Well, that's okay, because I literally had a Zoom meeting with a woman that lives in Dominica. She actually runs a small boutique resort, and she was on Zoom in her car driving through the jungle. So you can absolutely stay plugged in when you go there.
Yeah, that's amazing that, I feel like nowadays everyone's kind of up to par when it comes to Wi-Fi and connectivity. So I think that's amazing. And it's a good thing to know, just in case you are interested in getting a little time off. But, with the culture we have, it's work, work, work. What types of luxury properties are available in Dominica that people could explore?
Well, eco resorts and branded sustainable villas. And when we talk about eco resorts, think about things that can be sustainable on its own. Solar powered, they're good for the earth. So, if you're a person that really, is involved with, the climate and sustainable energy and all of those things, that is how these properties are built. There's a property there called Secret Bay, and that's what it's about. It is about utilizing natural and nature to sustain this development. They're utilizing not only solar power to run the entire place, but they're also utilizing the natural spring water on the island as well too. And so it's a pretty cool, when you think about it, using that natural resources. There's ocean view estates with jungle surroundings. Here's what's really cool about this. If you have a chance to Google and just look at some of the photos, you're going to see some of these beautiful homes that are ocean view, but they're surrounded in the jungle. And so here's what I love about this is that you can be there at your home and feel the coolness of that ocean breeze without being in the blazing sun, if that makes sense. It's pretty, it just makes it so much nicer to be able to sit outside and enjoy those elements.
You also have all of the elements sitting from your backyard. So that's amazing if you want to enjoy the rainforest, but there's nothing like waking up to that ocean view.
Exactly. Well, and then there's those people that do love the outdoors and they just want to hike. They, maybe they spend time going to Colorado and Europe and all these different places to actually hike and see nature. Well, Dominica is a Caribbean island that they go and they do this with. And you have these private villa compounds that are completely off the grid. And you can go to these, but be close to those paths where you don't get lost in the jungle, but you can still hike and have miles and miles and miles of scenery to visit. So, and then of course we talk about boutique hotel development sites and their emerging tourism zones there as well. So, buyers seek properties that combine natural immersion, wellness amenities, and rental potential. A lot of the stuff there in Dominica is secluded, so you don't have to worry about that. And everything, because it's surrounded by everything beautiful, it's all high-end settings, which makes it very unique.
I can imagine anywhere on an island, I feel like you can get the best of both worlds, especially being secluded. If you are one of those people who values a little bit more privacy and want to have something that kind of feels like it's yours.
Exactly.
I think it's a great place to invest. Do you think it's a good place for investments in real estate?
Yeah, I do, because for investors with long-term vision, Dominica offers that strong appeal to the eco-conscious luxury market, okay? That's something that constantly is growing, okay? And you've got to think too, the location of Dominica, yes, it's a close distance from the United States, but it's also very close to other countries. And other countries are also eco-conscious. So this is an attraction, to this market. There's also access to citizenship by investment. So if you're investing in Dominica, you have access to citizenship programs, because you're qualifying with purchasing the real estate. Dominica has rapidly growing reputation among affluent wellness travelers as well too. And so if you're looking to go there and when we talk about wellness, we're talking about spas, we're talking about eating right, we're talking about yoga, we're talking about, just really investing in our bodies. That is Dominica. So you have those opportunities as well too. Sometimes we go away, and I know my family is guilty of this. We go away and we say we're on vacation, and we eat all the wrong things, drink all the wrong things, and need to come back to wellness, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Dominica, you can actually make that a priority because so many of the places have made that a priority.
And I'm sure since that is the mood, and wellness is one of their high value is. Anywhere you go, I'm sure the food is probably farm to table, everything organic. If you're drinking water from the springs, all of that affects everything. And the access to wellness, it reminds me of the beginning of Tulum and what it was at the beginning. It was very, very hyper wellness and eco-friendly. And I think that's amazing for Dominica. And it's super interesting on investing in the country and becoming a citizen. Can we touch a little bit more on that?
Yes. The CBI program allows for foreign investors to gain second citizenship by purchasing government-approved real estate. So typically in luxury eco developments. And how that works is when someone is there developing, building new housing, they've already gone to that extent while they were getting their permitting to get it government approved, right? Because they want to have that, that ability to advertise that so that when you come to purchase, you will be awarded that second citizenship. The other other great thing about that is it offers visa-free travel to 140 plus countries, which is huge, okay? There's no income tax, no inheritance tax, no wealth tax. We love not paying taxes, right?
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. Real estate investment threshold starting at 200,000 and up, right? So you got to invest at least 200,000 US dollars. 5-year holding period for resale eligibility under the program. So when you purchase, you just need to own it 5 years, to just stay within that program, meaning in order to keep that second citizenship and so forth. So look, we love any ability to keep the money that we earn. And so no income, no inheritance, and no wealth tax is yet again just another benefit, especially if you're buying for investment.
Absolutely. I think it's something to think about, right?
Yes.
What should buyers and developers know about the legality in the purchase process? Does it work similar to us over here in the US? I know every country has a little bit of their own thing, so.
Well, in the US, we actually make it probably too easy. Okay. We just let anybody buy, right? So Dominica, like St. Vincent and the Grenadines and so many other places, they do want you to fill out what's called an alien landholding license application, okay? Now, if you're purchasing under the CBI, that goes away because that is a government approved real estate and you're automatically going to be granted that. But let's say you find a home and it is not approved under the CBI program. Then you just need to fill out an alien landholding license application. And they're just they're asking you questions similar to when you're getting your global entry, in the airport.
Yeah.
They're just making sure that they're not granting citizenship to criminals that are going to come and bring bad anything to their place.
And I respect that. It's so necessary as well. Everyone should get a little background check if you're coming into somewhere that you're not from,
That's exactly right. And so, they want to crime is low. They want to keep it low. They want to protect what they have. And I love that. I absolutely love that because when you're on an island, you're on an island. And so you've got to protect that island. So real estate transactions are conducted in Eastern Caribbean dollars. And, obviously US dollars are widely accepted, but you will do that conversion. US dollars, anybody pretty much wants to accept US dollars, but as you're purchasing through that, you will be going through legal protections. There will be an on-site attorney. They do run title, okay? But again, this is why Airdomo exists. We don't expect you to go figure all this out yourself. This is that hand-holding process that we offer you when you decide that this is a place that you would like to have ownership. We're going to guide you through that. We're going to vet it. We're going to make sure that the process is seamless and that you are well protected. Legal fees, transfer taxes, government duties are part of the closing costs, typically around 10 to 13%. Now, I know you might say that seems high, but here's the deal. That 10 to 13% is a one-time thing. You will never again pay annual property taxes. It's a one-time upfront. So here in the US, we are used to our properties getting assessed and reassessed, and every 12 months or every 6 months receiving a tax bill. Here, you're going to pay it one time upfront. You're not going to pay it again. And so that's how that works. So you are not subject to reassessment and reassessment and reassessment. So
I mean, cost, it is what you get. And I think, and on top of that, the possibility of not having to pay any tax or passing it over to somebody in your family later on and not having to pay any inheritance tax. That's a really big deal, especially if you're looking to buy a second home somewhere. And I think, it's a no-brainer to use Airdomo to just make it your process so swiftly. I think it's beautiful that we are able to do this for people.
Absolutely. And, and look, Dominica, it's redefining that Caribbean luxury with focus on the sustainable, sophistication, wellness-driven living. it's going to bring long-term value, and they're going to be protective of how much that island does, get developed. And so now is the time to be looking at the opportunities that exist on that island. And so, for buyers seeking, an alternative to those luxury hotspots, Dominica offers authenticity, exclusivity, and global citizenship potential, which is highly, highly, highly important.
I'm super excited about this. I'm going to keep Dominica on my radar and let everybody know, because I think it's a nice little gem that hasn't been completely discovered yet, and I love to do a little bit of what nobody else is doing, so I'm definitely keeping it on my radar.
Well, and we are in active conversations with some up and coming projects that are happening in Dominica, where that inventory will be on airdomo.com when our site launches in just a few weeks. And so if you're interested in checking out some of this, make sure you're reaching out to us. Make sure you're following us. Lizzie, you're the social media queen. Tell them where to follow us.
Please follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn at Airdomo. I'm going to be constantly updating it with new properties that we have for you to take a look at. Just giving you the insight of what exactly to expect when you go on Airdomo, the process and the top places, a lot of information on the top places where people are investing their money. So if any updating news that we're going to be giving on Airdomo, you can follow us on our socials. Again, it's at Airdomo. And give us a follow, message us. We're here to help.
Awesome. Until next week, we will see you next Wednesday. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Thank you so much.
Happy 4th. Ciao.